Welcome back everyone to another episode of ShadeTV. My name is Marissa Hill and today is a sizing guide. This will be on the Nike Vomero 5 silhouette, which I personally think right now is one of my favorite sneakers that is not only just fashionable, high-end looking, as well as very comfortable for an all-day type of sneaker that maybe you want to walk in or even, you know, just have a nice travel sneaker. This is right now my go-to. This is a sneaker that I feel like definitely is specific when it comes to gender, just because there are some key differences I'll explain in the sizing of this. So you'll definitely want to take note if this is your first time trying out the Vomero 5. Again, this is actually quite different as well from the Vomero 4, which was its predecessor. So this has some different new technology that they've kind of equipped it with, again, making it such a perfect sneaker for everything that you pretty much could be researching and looking for in an everyday sneaker. So clearly, I think I have a little collection starting for my Vomero 5 silhouette. I do have a men's version. The only men's version I have right now is the Mystic Navy and the Worn Blue colorway. But I definitely wanted to have this here so I can kind of show you how the base of this, where the outsole is, it's quite wider in width, whereas the Vomero in these three different colors, I've got the Photon Dust, I've got the Oatmeal, as well as the Royal Tint in Photon Dust colorway. And I feel like I've definitely narrowed it down to what size range works perfect. And I definitely think for women's sizing, so again, if this is a woman's exclusive, you'll know because it's only in women's sizing. They have really tailored it to the woman's foot, which means they made it quite narrow. As far as the interior goes, you can definitely tell that it's more narrow by looking at the insole, but also it is a more snug fit. I feel like in comparison to the men's versus the women's, this definitely hugs my leg and ankle a lot better, which really keeps the sneaker more secure. Whereas the opening here on the men's, you can see that it's a much wider opening in comparison to the woman's, and it's much wider. So it definitely is easier to get on, but it doesn't fit as well around my leg and around my ankle. So as far as like this just feeling like it's more secure, a woman's size range for women specifically, especially if you are somebody like me that has just kind of narrow feet, this is definitely what you should go for over the men's size range. Another key difference is the bottom here. You can definitely see how much wider that outsole is in comparison to the outsole on the women's version, which is on my right. So that's also different. You definitely get more of a base, which is great, but for myself, I do feel like there's some extra room on the sides of my toes. And that just wasn't as comfortable because I could feel myself kind of going side to side in the sneaker, whereas this one is definitely more secure and really just holds my foot in there and in place. So again, as far as size ranges go, for the women's sizing, it's only going to be in women's sizing, and for men's, it's only going to be in men's. But I would say stick true to size in both. I feel like for the men's, I would probably wear some thicker socks to just kind of fill in that extra space and air that I have in it. And for women's, I'm totally fine with wearing thinner socks. But again, this is very much so more of a spring summer type of sneaker because as you can kind of see, there's a lot of perforated areas all throughout the sneaker. Even on the side panels in this caging unit, you can see where the airflow is going to be hitting. So your foot's going to get pretty chilled in the wintertime here in New York. You'll know because it gets so cold out here, and I've had sneakers where I'm like, whoa, this is not a winter shoe. So definitely think about that as far as seasonally as well. What location you're in. Is this a good shoe because I want to get some more breathability? If you're in a warmer temperature place, this is the sneaker you have to have because it's definitely going to have the max breathability as possible. And as far as the new technology that's built in here, so we actually have this really cool decoupled heel, and that really just helps with shock absorption, but also it helps just put your foot in the right place as far as movement goes, which is really cool. And then they've got the segmented zoom air units throughout, and that's unlike the previous 4 model, which was just a flat full length zoom unit. So that's really cool. And the reason they decided to change that is for heel strikers. So people who predominantly hit on their heel, that actually helps the strikers transition for just a more smooth type of movement. And then it's extremely pillowy. This is probably one of the most pillowy sneakers I own. And a reason behind that is so you can see there's Cushlon technology in that midsole, but you're also getting that really just cool segmented zoom air unit system in there. And the combination of both is what really just makes it feel like a marshmallow inside. All right, so hopefully that helps you understand the Vomero 5 silhouette, but also what size range is going to work best for you. So again, always think about what type of foot you have. Do you have high arch, narrow feet like myself, or do you have flatter, wider feet? Because even if you are a woman who may have flatter, wider feet, I would say it may be best for you to actually try out the men's silhouette, just because I think it's more fine-tuned for that type of foot. Whereas if you have narrow, high arch feet, I feel like the Vomero 5 women's version is definitely a much better fit for you. All right, everyone, that is it for the sizing guide. My name is Marissa Hill. This is ShadeTV. We will catch you all next episode.